Have you ever felt that resistance that makes it almost impossible to do your work, especially creative work? Today, I want to talk to you about, I'm going to start in a second with a story about this morning for me, about running into resistance and how I overcame it. But first, I want to talk about what is resistance. So this concept comes out of, or I associate it with The War of Art by Pressfield, an author who has just put out a ton of incredible creative work and thinking about being a creative professional. And I'm going to speak to copywriters because, that's the core of my audience, but pretty much everything I'm going to talk about is going to apply to you if you're a writer or if you are, out any other kind of creative professional. So what is this resistance? Well, it's the struggle to do work based on feelings that we're having. And we may label those as doubt or fear, indecision, imposter syndrome, or really any other kind of negative emotion, shame. And sometimes these feelings that we're having, they can be directly tied to our work, but sometimes it's not about work at all. It's just like we're having this negative feeling about something going on, and it reflects in our struggles to do what we need to do. And so I'm going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about how to get through it if it resonates with you, if this is something you're interested in. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe so you can get more content from me and like this. And so the magical algorithms of the internet know to share this with more people like you who will get value from it. So with that, let's dive in. These are the proven direct response marketing, copywriting, and entrepreneurship success strategies you can use today to write your own ticket and create the life you want. I am Roy Furr, and this is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Now, here's today's breakthrough. All right, like every episode, today's episode is sponsored by me. And specifically in today's episode, or in the description for today's episode, I want you to check out the first link to training your subconscious success mechanism. This is training that I put together recently on how to communicate with what is currently subconscious in your mind. So your thoughts, your feelings, all of those things that we hold beneath our conscious level, because that subconscious is a powerful driver of our behavior, and it's especially critical when it comes to our creative output. If you want to be a productive copywriter or productive writer, you need to be able to work with your subconscious, because if you're not working with it, your subconscious will often be working against you. And so this training your subconscious success mechanism training is focused on having you get your subconscious on your side for the creation of your success. So check that link in the description. Today, I actually started off my day feeling resistance, and I knew it. I had struggled a little bit previously with productivity, and it was rolling over into today. I was not feeling 100%, and it's not just work stuff. I have a lot going on around me in my life. Like had kids sick. I've been on the edge of being sick for a while. And I've had roller coaster productivity because of that. It's some up, some down. But I knew I needed to get a lot done today. And so I just really aimed myself and I said, I have to overcome this resistance if I want to have the day that I need to have today. And so here's what I did. The first thing that I did is I opened up my journal. And I wrote down what I was feeling. I just let it all come out. My goal was to just externalize those negative thoughts and feelings, just to get them out of me. And what I find is that when I do that, the quality of the reflection that comes from getting those thoughts out of me, it's far higher quality reflection than if I just think the thoughts. And so I can sit there pondering some of the same thoughts all day, and oftentimes actually they get worse. I can ponder the feelings all day and they get worse. But if I let it out of me in my journal, in writing, it helps me just process those thoughts and move past them. So here's why this little trick beats resistance, because inside our heads, it's so easy to get caught in this negativity spiral of like, oh, I'm having this negative thought, this negative feeling. And then what does it mean? Oh, that meaning is bad. Okay, there's more negativity on top of it. Oh, and that is bad. So that means I'm bad and more negative on top of it. And it's just this downward spiral. And as long as we're stuck in our head, it often just gets worse. And here's the thing. It's being a little bit pessimistic has actually been shown to make your view of the world more accurate. But when we get stuck in this negativity spiral, it's not necessarily accurate. And it can be really hard to think objectively. And it can be really hard to focus on the positive, productive output that you want to create, especially, again, if you are a creative professional like a copywriter. And so one of the things you can do is, even as you're feeling all this negativity, you can just get it out and see it. So you just write it down, like you write whatever you need to write, whatever this negativity is. You don't ever have to show it to anybody. You just get it out and you see it there on the page. And being able to see it from a removed perspective does help you recognize, okay, maybe that's not totally accurate, or that's just me being frustrated or whatever. And the other thing that it does is writing does force clarity. So if you're just having all these negative feelings, writing it out like forces you to put words to those feelings, which also just helps you be able to not be so stuck in them and to move beyond them. And then what happened for me, and what should happen for you as those feelings are less overwhelming, is it creates this window. It opens this window where resistance has lowered its guard. So what do you do when resistance lowers its guard? Well, having clarity of plans, of things that you want to get done, having a to-do list, the items that you need to get done, that is huge. To say, okay, here's something I can do that's proactive, that's productive, that is going to move me closer to my goals. And then to pick the top item and make that your goal for this moment, because there is always only this moment. And so you have to say, here is what I am going to sit down and do in this moment, in this next hour, in this next period of time, and make it your goal and sit down and do it. And by the end of that time, if you do that, you are going to feel much better. Now, another training that I did recently, of course, is Small Work, Big Productivity. And I'll include a link in the description to that, but it's all about breaking down the activities that you want to accomplish into small work segments that you're then able to put on your calendar. And it's even better if you can add a layer of accountability on top of it. In a couple of weeks, I'm interviewing the founder of FocusMate, which is an online service where you just get accountability with someone for one work session for 25 minutes or 50 minutes. And you pop open a video chat with this person at the beginning. You say, hey, well, what are you working on? Here's what I'm working on. And then you check in at the end. Hey, how'd you do on your thing? And you have a conversation that is accountability in that moment. And it does get you focused on that goal for this moment, what you want to accomplish, what you want to do. And then another moment is going to arise, and you need to set another goal for the next moment and another goal for the next moment. And so when resistance has its guard lowered, then you push into that time and you use it to accomplish your goals. And Steven Pressfield's later work is on the topic of becoming professional, and he talks about it in The War of Art as well. And by the way, this book is so good. The War of Art book is so good. I actually have 2 copies of it. I think I accidentally bought the second copy. I might also have ebooks and audiobook versions, but I have 2 paperback copies because it's just that good. And this topic of resistance is so powerful. So this idea that Steven Pressfield talks about in becoming professional is basically, as a creative professional, if you're not just dabbling, you can't just let resistance take over your life and like make you not take action. As a creative professional, you have to adopt strategies like this that help you overcome resistance and get the work done. And really, so often what that comes down to is just being able to show up and do the work. Show up, do the work, do that small work that I talk about in Small Work, Big Productivity. Do the little items that, when accumulated through time, when compounded, added on top of each other through time, lead to big outcomes that you're looking to achieve. And so you make that plan and you do your darn best to stick to it. You make the plan, you do it. And sometimes this involves deadlines. Sometimes it involves like, oh, I need to get this much done today. Sometimes it's I need to get all of this done by this deadline date. Words won't come out, but we're rolling. So, and then you fill the space with positive action, so negative can't take over. And it's not that we need to deny the negative. In fact, I talked about from the beginning, you acknowledge that negative, you acknowledge it in your journal so you can process it. If you need additional help with that negativity, you can certainly seek it out. But then your main focus needs to be, okay, here's what I need to accomplish. And there's actually another book that I've just gotten into called Rethinking Positive Thinking that talks about, okay, here's the wish that I have. Here's the outcome that I'm looking to achieve, that I'm looking to experience. And then it focuses on obstacles. And obstacles are resistance. Like, what is my internal obstacle that's going to prevent me from achieving what I want to achieve? And then what's my plan? How am I going to react when faced with that internal obstacle? And so you're filling the space with positive so that negative can't take over, so the resistance can't take over, but you are acknowledging that it exists. You're not denying that resistance can be a factor, because when you try to deny it, it will only get worse. And so you need to figure out how to get back on track when resistance rears its head. And sometimes that can be just having that journal at your side so you can write down more negative thoughts or feelings or whatever, and then get back on track. And it can involve having the other strategies that I talk about in both training your subconscious success mechanism and Small Work, Big Productivity. And if you are interested in both of those, again, the links are in the description. They're both part of the BTMS Insiders Training Library, which is like Netflix for copywriters, marketers, and entrepreneurs, where you pay one low monthly fee. You get instant streaming access to my entire catalog. Again, check the link in the description. You will find it there. And I'm Roy Furr. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. And one element of practiced marketing genius is getting your work out the door. And if you're constantly hamstrung and halted by resistance, you won't get your marketing out the door. If you do, if you overcome that resistance, you will get your marketing out the door, and you will give your marketing genius a chance to shine. And so I hope this episode has helped you get one step closer to manifesting and presenting your marketing genius in the world. I'll catch you again in the next episode. Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.